welcome to Last Week On, the podcast where we take our favorite TV shows and movies and we go back through them. My name is Adam Strawn, and today I am joined by one of my absolute favorites. You have heard his voice on this podcast before on one of the most recent episodes where we covered the butterfly effect, and you know his voice from Beyond the Blinds podcast. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Troy McEady. How you doing, buddy?
I'm so good, and I'm so excited to be here. I missed you.
Oh my God, I've missed you too, but we are so close now, right? We're literally like...
I know.
like 1 hour time
like a few hours.
Like literally, yeah. Right? Yeah. But I am oh my God, super excited to cover this movie with you because you and I think, are on the same level when it comes to this movie. And before I get into it, I just want to tell you how we discovered that we love this. So, Troy on Instagram just put out a question, and I kind of, you know, like when you can put like a question out there and people can just quickly chip in, like ask a question and Troy answers it. So I was like, okay, let me ask him a question. And I was like, who is your favorite kick-ass heroine in a movie? Troy's answer, bam, straight away, it was a picture of Uma Thurman in Kill Bill. And he was like, I always love, like, and I put a little blurb, I always love Uma Thurman. And as soon as I read that, I was just like, oh my God. And I was like, this bitch. Yeah. And I immediately DM'd him afterwards. I was like, do you want to come on the podcast? We need all that. Like, it was just like, burp. I was like, do you want to come on? We need to talk about Kill Bill immediately. And you were like, absolutely. So we are talking about Kill Bill Volume 1. Oh, I adore this. I mean, before we get into it, Troy, like, I just need to ask you, like, you know, Kill Bill. Tell me why you love this movie, like Volume 1, Volume 2, but why you love Kill Bill so much.
Well, so I grew up in a Quentin family.
Right.
We always, like, Quentin movies were a big deal for us. We always saw Quentin movies in the theater if we could. And this movie, I remember specifically when it came out, I loved, like, action. I loved, like, and I was young, so at the time I loved like fighting style video games, and like I was really into that culture.
Yep.
Like martial arts movies and stuff like that. And I just remember seeing this and being completely like, it was like going to Disney World as a kid for the first time. Like it literally just blew my mind. I was so inspired by it. The dialogue, the cinematography, the music, the fashion, obviously the fighting style, the homage to all these different, you know, like old kung fu movies and like kung fu movie characters, just all of it. It just felt so special. And it still feels really special. It feels like just like such a pop culture movie, you know? It's like very hyper pop culture, like aware of itself. Like, it's just great. I just love it so much.
You know what? You're so right. It sits so strongly in pop culture, even right now, and it's still so important to cinema now. Like, It's funny, like, and we'll talk about it, but when you look at, like, you know, the outfit that she wears later on, it's like the Bruce Lee outfit from Game of Death, right? But she owns that outfit now, you know, and that's how important it is to pop culture. Like, when I see that outfit now, you know, Bruce Lee had his moment in it, but it's the bride's outfit now. Yes, you know, it's stuff like that. It's so important in pop culture, right? And I'm the same as you, Troy. Like, we're a big family of like Quentin Tarantino movies. So as soon as one comes out, we're at the cinema, you know, and we go and see it. Like, and there's a certain aesthetic, there's a certain style. You know, you are going to see a Quentin Tarantino movie. You know what you're going to expect, right? It's actually my mom who's like the big fan. So like in the house, I'd grown up, Pulp Fiction was always on. So I remember that was the first of his movies I ever saw. And I was like, what is this? You know, like the broken narrative, the different times, like jumping around, all of that. And we get like all of his trademarks are all over this movie, right? You know, the way it starts and then we jump around a little bit. I love like, you know, just the aesthetic, the style. And it's nice because in the house like that I grew up in, my mom was like really into Quentin Tarantino, but then my dad was into classic like Asian cinema. So I grew up like watching like stuff like Bruce Lee movies, but then like Shogun Assassins, Seven Samurai, like my dad, like Michelle Yeoh, like Kung Fu action movies as well. So I grew up watching that stuff. And then to see those two merge together in Kill Bill, I was like, did he make this movie for me? Come on. Like, this is just, and honestly, Kill Bill 1 and 2, like as a cohesive piece for me, it's just perfection. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even start. Like, it's just beauty. And I remember going to see this one at the cinema, and I was just blown away. As you say, like it's just homage to everything, to westerns, to Asian
Yeah.
cinema, to pop culture, just the action and just everything. He just nails it. I mean, the soundtrack alone as well, taking from like famous songs and just using them in different ways. It's just for me, it's a masterclass in filmmaking, but also
Yeah.
it blows everything away. And honestly, like it's still my favorite Tarantino. For me, this is like his top. It's going to take a lot to top Kill Bill 1 and 2. I just love it.
I agree with you. It's a masterclass. Also in acting.
Oh
The
my
thing is literally insane. Uma Thurman, like I know that this is like obviously a really famous movie and like she's been praised for her role in this movie, but like I don't even know if it's enough.
God.
Like I don't even know if it's like enough because she really the way she carries this movie and like emotes like the like rage and anger and like the passion to want to kill these people. It's like you are feeling what she is feeling.
Oh my
You
God.
know, you can't help but feel it. And if you aren't convinced at the beginning, by the middle of this movie, like you are like on her journey. You are emotionally tied to this woman in a really intense way. You want her to succeed. Like you are like rooting for her. You're seeing yourself in her. She really like carries this movie in a really powerful way to me.
Absolutely. And you know what? Like you root for her in different ways as well. Like if it's not enough for the fact that, she's been beaten basically to death and then has nearly died. And then you think, oh my God, she's like had her daughter taken away from her. And then you think, right, okay, she deserves to get her revenge. And then by
Right.
the end of the movie, what's so clever is that you realize, look, one, she hasn't killed Bill, so you've got motive to watch the sequel to watch her actually do it. But
Right.
then the motive completely changes in the fact that no, she's no longer an assassin who's seeking her revenge. She's now a mother who's getting her daughter back because you learn that at the end, oh my God, her child's still alive. And
Yeah.
that you as an audience are like, oh my God, like the motive for backing her is completely different now. And that's so clever. And that's down to Tarantino's writing. He's just a genius. Like he really is with stuff like that. But again, as you say, with the acting, it's just Uma Thurman in this. And like when you watch her talk about this role, she's like, Tarantino wrote a really difficult role for me because like she says like a lot of About the Bride is a mystery in terms of like, her name's bleeped out. And like
Mm-hmm.
you were kind of learning like along with her, like more of kind of like what it is about her. You've got motive, definitely, but you don't know a lot of the personals about her. You just kind of know her motive and that's it. But the kind of a lot of that I think comes from the performance of Uma Thurman. She gives that character depth. Like just
Yeah.
in looks, in the delivery of lines, as you said. When she says a line, God, you feel it. And you
Yeah.
really, really do. And you think, fuck, like this woman could kick your ass. And I just love that so much.
I'm glad you brought up the looks, the
Mm.
silent just looks on her face. The face acting is like really, it's like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that she, helped her, like she and Quentin like helped each other come up with the bride and all of that stuff. But I really feel like Uma is special in the sense that she really understands his writing and like his voice, and she always understands the vibe. Like she truly understands
Mm.
the assignment, like for
Oh,
real.
yeah.
Like she feels like an extension of like what he tries to put on paper a lot of the time, and I think that she's such like a worthy muse in that sense because she really gets it. Like
Yeah.
the weirdness of Quentin's sort of like world. She completely understands it.
I think she interprets it, doesn't she? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because Quentin's like all over here, like there's so much going on up here, and I think she just streamlines it down to make sense. Like as you said, like she worked on the character of the bride, and I think he was coming at her with like 1,000 ideas, and she kind of
Yeah.
streamlined and went, right, okay, what about if we just had this one idea? Yes, we've got this assassin, but what if it just starts where we've got this woman? She's just an assassin. She's
Yeah.
laying down, she's covered in blood, and then she's in a bridal gown. And Quentin went, yes, that's it. And like all of this started on
Yeah.
the set of Pulp Fiction when they started writing it together. And I
Oh
think
my
that's what works so well. And you think like going back to that idea, that germ of that idea started, and then we got Kill Bill. It's just,
So long ago.
I know, right? Genius. I mean, let's go into the specifics of Kill Bill and then let's dive straight into it. So, I mean, 2003. I mean, this is crazy. So, written and directed, obviously, by Quentin Tarantino. This cast list, OMG. So,
Yeah,
Uma Thurman, David Carradine, Daryl Hannah. I mean, oh, like Michael Madsen, Lucy Liu, Vivica A. Fox, and then we've got like Julie Dreyfus as well, who is just amazing in this. It had a budget of $30 million, which is crazy when you think about it.
yeah,
It like gross 70 million that it made in US and Canada, and then it went on to make 180 million worldwide.
yeah,
And then that is just crazy in numbers when you think about it. Like
yeah,
absolute nuts. But so like that's not a shock because I think the fever and everything around this when it came out just went wild. And it is because of that, what you and I said. The fact is, people wanted to see that sequel. People knew, right, we're on board. We understand her motive now. We want to see him kill Bill. Like,
yeah.
we want to see that happen, right?
It's so true. And also, like you said, the cat, like, it's such a stacked cast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like even going into it blind, you want to know like what is Daryl Hannah doing and like Tarantino movie, like what's going on? You know, it's so fun.
I know, right? To go from like her being a mermaid to this, like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and
splash
like
to this.
yeah, and at the beginning you see her like wearing an eye patch and like she just looks so cool and like stylized. I mean, everybody looks really stylized and cool, but like specifically, Daryl Hannah looks like really, really cool. Like she looks like a video game character.
Does, doesn't she? Oh my God, I was
Yeah.
going to say that. And like, she honestly, like, she steals every single scene.
Oh
And
my
when you,
God.
like, when we cover like Kill Bill Volume 2, which we are going to, by the way, for people
Yes.
wondering, oh my God, like, every single line she delivers when you talk about line delivery, Daryl Hannah, like, this movie is one of those movies when do you ever like have movies that you just quote lines randomly in your head
Yeah,
when they just pop in your
totally.
head? This movie and the sequel, just lines pop into my head all the time. And I just
Yeah.
like walking around here, I'll just say them out loud for no reason.
Me too.
Like, and
All the
just
time.
all the time, just like, you don't owe her shit.
That's
Like,
the
just,
one. That's the
yeah,
one.
yeah, all the time. Just so much. And it's such a quotable movie, but Daryl Hannah's especially from the second one as well, which obviously when we get to that, we'll cover that so much. But yeah,
Yes.
she is genius in this. And like, she doesn't even ham it up. She just plays it to perfection. Just so
Yeah.
sinister, so brutal, and does so much with that one eye as well.
I know.
Isn't
I
it
know.
crazy?
So cool.
Oh, yeah, the epitome of
Like
cool.
endlessly cool. It's like dripping out of her.
Right. But I mean, let's talk about the opening. So,
Okay.
love this opening. So we kind of talked about it a little bit when, Uma Thurman talked about it as well, the opening, when all we hear is the breathing, right? And it's the black and
Yeah.
white shot. We hear like footsteps, we see the foot, and then we see like these boots, and then we get like that kind of the panning shot of the bride, and we get Uma Thurman shot covered in blood.
Yeah.
And like straight away, we're like, shit, like what has happened? Beaten in a bridal gown. I mean, then all we hear, and I love in this movie, I love this choice where we never see Bill. We just hear David
Right.
Carradine's voice. I love that. We see his hands, we hear his voice, we never see him. And it's more of like that mystique, right? It's like that coming back of who is this man? Who is Bill? And yet we just feel his presence all the way through this movie. And I love that choice so much because it's that sinister edge. And then straight away we hear like the cocking of the gun, that the wiping of the blood. We see the name like Bill, like on the handkerchief,
Yeah.
and he's like, I could fry an egg on your head right now, and just her breathing, the franticness on her face, and that face acting, as you said, when she
Yeah.
sees that gun come out, and he's like this, and he's like this is yours, and she's like, Bill, it's your baby, bang.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. I
That
know.
opening alone, there's so much in like, what is it, like 3 minutes or something? And then bang, bang. Like,
I know, straight into Bang Bang, like so perfect. And
beautiful.
the way that it's shot, like that gritty, um, black and white, where you can just see every bead of sweat, and the blood is like so like saturated, and like it just looks so intense. And I love that they made the decision to show like not only is she 100 degrees because they're in the desert,
Oh my
she's also,
God.
like you said, been beaten up. Like there's like so much going on, And when you watch it a million times, you know that she's fucking pregnant and that
Yeah.
she's like, and the thought of this group of people beating up like a 9 month pregnant woman is like crazy,
Hmm.
crazy.
It just adds the brutality to that scene overall. Like,
Yeah,
and when it comes back to that, like later on, when you kind of, when you actually see like the full silhouette of her and you see like
yeah,
the belly and you think, oh my actual God. And it
yeah.
sinks in that opening of how brutal that actually is of what happened. And Jesus. But again, I love that it's just that close up of Uma Thurman, like the whole scene and just hearing the voice.
Hmm.
You get everything from that opening. This Bill character, like shit's getting real. Like this guy does not mess around. And like
Yeah,
Uma Thurman, how terrified she is. And this is one of the most deadliest women in the world. But
yeah.
also that last kind of moment of she knows she's going to die here. And it's just that last moment of Bill, it's your baby. It's just that I'm going to say something to him here. Just that one moment of, and then no, he's still
Yeah.
going to do it. And then like,
Oh God.
it's
And
just,
like you said, when he wipes her face and she flinches.
mm.
Oh my God.
It's just, oh, it's like A class just acting overall.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. And again, like, we got like Nancy Sinatra singing Bang Bang, which is beautiful. The credits roll. We do get a Harvey Weinstein name on there, which hasn't aged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then I love like we get like a nice view of like Uma Thurman as well, like kind of just a silhouette, like kind of just breathing, which is really interesting as well as the
Hmm.
credits start to roll. And then I love when we go into chapter 2. Now, this when we go into this is when we meet Vivica A. Fox. Okay. So then we kind of go, this is like classic Tarantino where we're kind of chopping and we're changing around, okay, with the timeline, which I love. I love this style of storytelling.
Me
And
too.
like it's a stylistic choice. Some people, I don't know if you've ever seen those YouTube videos where some people are like, let's put these in order of like this the correct storytelling,
Yeah.
the correct timeline. People like reorder them. I'm not about that. I just love this because it adds more to that shock value of okay, we were here, now we're here, and you kind of piece it together yourself in your own mind. And I really love that. And it's classic Tarantino. That's like it's not something that he's invented. Obviously, it's been done in movies
Right.
before, but he does it so damn well. What's your thoughts? Like, do you enjoy that kind of stylistic choice yourself, Troy?
I am obsessed with it. I think that it forces you to engage in a different way.
Yeah.
When you know that you're being given bits and pieces of like what's going on, it forces you to really like engage in
Yeah.
a way that you wouldn't maybe if it was being told like in a linear way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it becomes like an action movie, but then there's like this like who done it quality on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
where like you're trying to piece it together. I love it, especially when it's done well. Like I think it's a testament to a director who can like chop and screw a story like that and have it all make such sense in the end is insane. Like that's amazing.
Yeah. And again, like Tarantino was famously said, like he writes his scripts like that as well.
Mm.
And like the fact that he's got it all figured out in his mind in that way is bananas. It's just
It's mind
crazy.
blowing.
But
Yeah.
it is. But he's just that's the genius of him. That's how his mind works and it all comes together like that is incredible.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this at the cinema and my mind was blown at this fight scene. So, I mean, we get the first introduction of the iconic, the sirens, the close up of the eyes. So she obviously presses the doorbell. We get Vivica A. Fox opening the door like Vanita Green. And then we get the close up.
Yeah.
Iconic. I felt like at the time everybody's ringtone on their phones was this
Yeah.
siren. Do you remember? It was definitely
Yes.
mine. Definitely mine. And I loved it so much. And then we see like the quick, like we see a punch. We obviously see her go down on the floor. We see like, Vanita Green, like is one of the Viper squad. And then I just love how there's just no intro. It's just punch. I
Yeah.
love how scrappy this fight is. I love that they trash the house so
Yes.
much. And I think what I love about this fight in comparison to like other fights later on is that this fight is so scrappy. There's no time to prepare for it. There's nothing. And you kind of compare this later on to like, say, the fight with Lucy Liu, where like with Oren Ishii, that's like a dance, right? And there's like, that's an art form. It's like respect between two, like, two assassins, right? And this is just a scrap, isn't it? It's just they're throwing each other all over. And, credit to Tarantino for this. Like he choreographed everything with this and just did it beat by beat by beat and step. And this fight, I just love it so much. I love that, both women are holding their own. I love that they're grabbing items in the house and like hitting each other with it. Their reactions are perfect. The sound effects are incredible. Like each moment you kind of think one's like one up in each other, like when they're hitting each other, like the fire poker, they're grabbing stuff and pulling it down. But I love like you see them getting cut by glass and then they're reacting to that. And then when they go into the kitchen, they're pulling pans and like fighting each other. And then like obviously Vanita Green gets the knife, which is her speciality when she's trying to chop her and like cuts her arm. I love everything about this fight. What's your thoughts on it, Troy?
Well, visually, I love it because it's so bright, and I love that we go from the say black and white to like this really overly saturated, bright, like almost music video, colorful world. And it's funny because it's like this movie is like a bunch of different movies in one, and you can tell what story is being told based on like the way it looks. So sometimes it is black and white, sometimes it's very saturated. Sometimes, for example, when she's like learning how to fight, it's like kind of like grayed out and like it looks completely different. It's cool. So visually it's just like gorgeous. And I love how practical it feels. It feels like a very practical fight. Like everything that's happening makes sense. And again, there are different kinds, like you said, there are so many different kinds of fights in this movie, and they're all important. Some of them are like very stylized and like very like choreographed in like a really beautiful way. And then this, like you said, is just scrappy and like gritty, and it's practical. It feels like things that could happen. Like they're using objects. The pain feels very real when she hits her knee. It's like just it's real. I love the dialogue. Like Vivica Fox, like she's in the movie for 10 minutes, and the way she shines when she's like, "Come on, bitch." Come on, bitch. Like she's just so funny. She's so funny during that whole scene.
She's a genius. Like I just say, like she's so full of energy, like literally physically, but also in the delivery. And like when she's saying like, "Bring it on," and like they obviously have that standoff moment, and then I love it. And obviously I screen cap that moment as well. But just that moment of when they're having the face off, and then I love the change of the energy in the room when like the school bus pulls up, she sees her daughter get out, and then she's looking, and then just that look on her face as if to say, "No, please, no, not in front of my daughter." And as a mother, the bride, like Uma Thurman's character, just understands. It's like, "Look, I understand, I get it, I'll give you this." And I just love as soon as that door opens, it's the knives behind the back. It's like, "Hey, baby, how was school?" I just love that energy changes immediately. And I love that. And like, the daughter's face is like, there's broken shit everywhere. And she's like, what? But I just love.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I love that so much how she goes from assassin, killer, I'm going to kill you, bring it on to mother. I've got to look after my daughter. And that's such an important theme throughout this. And I just love how that's almost foreshadowing for the bride character, how we see that in volume 2. That's what happens to Uma Thurman's character, how she turns into that character when she finds BB,
Yes. 1000% agree with you. I think that scene is like really important to be at the beginning of the movie because I think it establishes her character that like, she's like a deadly assassin, but she's not evil. Like she's not an evil person. She's not even a bad person. She's not a villain. She's out for revenge, which we've established she deserves. So everybody that she comes for is expecting that she would because they deserve to die, She's not going to kill kids, willingly, even though obviously later on in this one, what's her name is like very young, but she warns her like, "You're a child. I'm giving you this moment to leave." Like she's not evil. And I think that that's a great way to establish that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's not like just a cold-blooded killer. Like she has the people that deserve the revenge that she wants to kill. She's not just killing anyone that gets in her way. Like she even has that moment with that really young guy as part of the Crazy 88 when she smacks him. "This is what you get for fucking around with the." One of the best scenes. Yeah, love that so much. But I love it so much. But and then I love obviously the next scene. Like Nikki goes upstairs, and then like just again the tension. Like even Uma Thurman pulls the knife back out, and she's like, You want some coffee? Sure.
Yeah.
Knife away. Situation's diffused. They know that, right? Okay, let's just zone this out. They go into the kitchen, having a nice chilled conversation. I like the little throwback to the Pulp Fiction moment as well when she's like, oh, like, I know you want to get even. She's like, oh, if I want to get even, I'd have to like kill your husband, kill your daughter, and that would be about square and draws the square. I like that
Yeah.
little reference to Pulp Fiction. That was pretty cool. And she's saying, look, you and I have unfinished business. And what I really liked about this scene is, they make the plan, don't they? Like, right, let's go to like this, what is it, a baseball diamond, like half a mile down here. We'll meet at nighttime, all dressed in black. We'll have our night fight. We will fight to the death. And I love that we don't get that. I love that we cut to. And I love that she's like, now. That one moment when she's like, now. And like Uma Thurman leans back. It's like, I have to fix Nikki's cereal. That should have been a bit of a giveaway. It's like, what? Like after school time, she's making a cereal, but okay. And then she's like, I love the cereal is called Kaboom.
I never noticed that. That's funny.
I know, right? And then I just love this. Uma Thurman's reaction for this is just so real. Like, and she's like, weapon of choice, you want to stick with your butcher knife. And this little, like, I love the back and forward between them. And like, they even have a smile and have a laugh, even though they just tried to kill each other 5 minutes ago. She's like, very funny, bitch. Very funny. Turns around, tries to shoot her. Obviously, catches her off guard because she swung round, like fires the gun from the cereal box. And then Uma Thurman's reaction, she doesn't even, she's like her head like spins. When she drops that coffee, kicks it and it flies at her. Oh my God. Genius. And then obviously throws the knife at her, bang in the chest, and she slides to the floor. That moment is one of those moments I have watched so many times again and again and again on YouTube. I just think it's genius. It's just so well done. And again, it's so good. I just love that we didn't get that fight. That moment is incredible.
And it just like establishes everything. Like it establishes that like anybody can die. If Vivica Fox can die at the beginning of the movie, anybody can die.
Yeah.
And that like she's not to be fucked with, like Uma is not a joke. Like it really, because at the beginning it felt like kind of a fair, equal match.
Right.
We're fighting, but then when it's like, oh, she took her out like immediately, like it was just such a great establishing scene, I think, for everybody's characters.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it was just, I love it so much. And then this is what Tarantino has famously said, if and when, so Tarantino, if you're listening, this would be the storyline for Kill Bill Part 3, which is when Nikki comes in, she obviously sees her mother dead, but then she sees the bride. And then, she's like wiping the knife. She says, look, this wasn't my intention to do this in front of you. However, your mother had it coming. And then she says, when you grow up, if you still feel raw about this, I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
That Tarantino said in interviews, he said, look, if I do Kill Bill 3, that's the story right there. Nikki growing up, getting revenge for her mother's death, which, fair enough.
Yeah.
Taking out the bride, but then having a final face-off with BB, who's been trained up by Uma Thurman, and then them two having a face-off. Give me that movie, please.
Are you kidding me? It writes itself, literally.
Like, I'm writing this right now.
You like pull up a typewriter.
I've like printed it off. I'm sending it to Quentin Tarantino right now. I mean, oh my God. Like, give me that right now. Genius. But yeah, I mean, and then I love that she goes out to the car, and then I love that we've got a death list, and then we've got that Oren's name's already crossed off. Mm-hmm. At this point, we don't know who Oren is. So we just see the name Oren Ishii is crossed off, and we're like, oh, okay. And then we kind of get like a little bit of a placement. So we know that we're going to see another fight. This is another name crossed off the list, but we've got another fight to come. And again, that's just the genius of the movie where we're like, we've got another big fight to look forward to. We've seen this scrappy fight. We have no idea who Oren Ishii is, but we've got it to look forward to. And I just love that. And again, we get like the kind of the voiceover saying about, she deserves her revenge and everything like that. I just love it. What a strong opening to the film already.
Yeah, and I love that it's a movie that lends itself to being watched a million times. And I guess maybe he must have known that going into it. This would be something that people would watch once, and then they would watch maybe like with both movies together as one, and then they would go back and rewatch them a million times to like pick up on all the little nuances. But like that really lends itself to this being a movie that you watch over and over and over and over because the storytelling is told in a way where it's rewarding. If you then know, if you've watched it and watch it again, it's like rewarding to see it again.
God, absolutely. I remember like I think it was like maybe on the anniversary of Kill Bill as well. Like a lot of the local cinemas, like where like I obviously used to live, were showing Kill Bill 1 and 2 back to back. And
Wow.
it's just it's made for that, isn't it? And like I went and saw it back to back, and
Wow. Oh.
it's perfection. Like
Yeah.
literally, it's just made for that. And I've seen these movies like 2003, 2004. I've seen them a million times, right?
Yeah.
Because hello, I'm alive. But
Right.
like to watch them like that as well, there's such a payoff. I mean, they're just incredible. And as you said, Troy, like they are made for that because you reap the rewards of doing that. You piece
Yeah.
together so many little things again and again, and Tarantino knows that in writing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's there for you to take. So by doing that, you're going to enjoy it so much more. It's just, oh, it's cinema, baby. It's just,
Yeah.
it's incredible. And then obviously we go to the next chapter, which is, the blood spattered bride. This is when we get the sheriff who's kind of going. It's quite a short chapter, this one. He drives up to El Paso, Texas. So we go to obviously the wedding chapel. And then this is when we actually see like full on Uma Thurman in the wedding dress. We see her pregnant belly. We see everybody else masked. And I love that we see like, even though he's not actually referenced in the movie, but we see like Samuel L. Jackson's body like laying on the ground as well in the background. And he's like the organ
Yeah.
player who we don't actually see until like part 2.
Yeah.
But like, it's the massacre, right? Like the fallout of like what's happened. And that's when you really see it, when the camera's pulled back and you see it's not just Uma Thurman, but everybody else in that wedding chapel. And again,
Yeah.
it's what you said, Troy, when you watch part 2 and you see the build up to that, and you see like, you've got the people in there who like are running the ceremony and you've got like everybody else who's in there and you're like, Jesus Christ, like, what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
when that does happen and you see the massacre, Jesus, and it's horrendous. And obviously, he's leaning over, he's looking at her, he's like, she just looks like an angel laying there. And then she spits. He's like,
A little blood splattered angel.
Just Jesus Christ. I mean, that's like kind of like the spaghetti Western, right? Like, and again, you feel this. This is like Tarantino's, his influences all over this, where, we've got spaghetti Western with the music, with like, this is a spaghetti Western shot, like this whole scene here. And again, like, it is that. And that's what this scene is about. It's getting that Uma Thurman is still alive. This is how she was found. This is the transition. And as I say, like the dialogue's quite cheesy, but I kind of love it for that reason. And then
it's camp. It's camp.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. The taking off of the glasses, I love that as well. With like the filter where it's like his glasses and he takes them off and like the filter goes off the camera as well. Yeah. Isn't it just?
It's just so fun that like Quentin Tarantino is such a playful director. And it's like, I'm a very visual person. Like I am the kind of person that like when I listen to music, I'm always like creating music videos in my head. And like that's just how I've always been. When I was little, I wanted to be a music video director. That was like my dream. And it's like really the payoff, knowing that not only is he a great writer, but like he's also so visual. He loves the visual aspect of making these movies, and like those little touches, like the glasses, like that's so great.
Right.
It's just like a feast, like I can eat on it for 20 years.
Oh my God, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's like, and I mean, even like this next scene, as you said, like there's so many shots in this movie that are just beautiful to look at. I mean, one of my favorites, which we'll get to later on, is when Uma Thurman actually fights Oren Ishii with the snow falling, the blue sky.
God.
That alone, that's a painting. Like you could hang that. That's gorgeous. But it's funny you mentioned music video because this next shot, our introduction to Daryl Hannah as Elle, this is a music video to me. Her walking into the hospital, whistling. And, we get the intro, we get the coat, we get the umbrella. We just get that iconic whistle. And then we get like the camera panning where we get like it's 2 shot. We get like Uma Thurman kind of in the hospital in the coma. We get Daryl Hannah walking in. We then see her getting dressed up like as the nurse. And then we just see like the stockings going on. We see the gloves. We see like the hat, the eye patch with the cross on as well, which is just
Yeah.
iconic.
So,
That you could see something Lady Gaga would do something like that. Like, you
yeah.
could see that in a music video. And then when she comes out and the music changes to that like drastic music, she comes out with that lethal injection like on the
Yeah.
tray. And her face is just so stoic as she comes out, just like a villain. Give me that any day. I love it so much.
You can definitely feel too that, it feels like 2003. Like we're still very much a part of like the MTV. MTV is still very much an important part of like culture. And music videos are an everyday part of culture. And you can feel when you watch this movie that we're living in that time period still. We're like seeing shots like this, like we're used to seeing things like this because we're all watching music videos every single day. And
Yes.
this feels like an extension of that, like in the best way.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was massive, even in TV shows. I mean, we had stuff like 24 out at the time as well, and
Yes.
24 was doing stuff like this
Yep.
all the time. And as you say, like music videos, we had stuff like this all the time. So, when we said earlier on in like the episode, like it's massive for pop culture. It references
Mhm.
stuff that was happening at the time, and it's still
Yeah.
so iconic today. Like we still see stuff for like what Kill Bill was doing like back in 2003 in modern day movies as well, like color palettes, everything like that. It's just genius. It's timeless. It's why I love it so much. One of the many reasons why I love it so much.
Whenever I watch young people, I love watching reactions. As you know, I love a reaction video. Whenever I watch young people react to Kill Bill on YouTube, whenever they hear certain things, they're like, "Oh my God, this is from this movie."
Yes.
Like wow, this is so ingrained in pop culture that like people know the sounds that they know like the bam bam bam, like they know all
Yes.
this stuff without even knowing the movie.
Absolutely. You're right. Like the close up on the eyes, the siren,
Yes. Yeah.
when you see kids react to that, like, oh my God, this is from Kill Bill. It's like, you
Yeah.
don't know shit.
Why not?
You weren't there, man.
You didn't live through it like we did.
I know. And then when you hear like the 5, 6, 7, 8s when they perform the woohoo, woohoo, and like when they hear that as well, and they're like, oh, that's what, and you're like, you don't even.
It's like, yeah, believe it or not, this is not a Honda commercial song. It's a real song by a really cool band.
I know, right? And I love how Tarantino found them, which we'll get to that shortly, but oh, love it so much. But yeah, so then we get obviously Daryl Hannah's character when I love when she just comes into the room and just how evil she is when she's like dying by injection. She's just so blasé about it. I love it. You know what? She gets so close, right? She's like literally injections in, just about press, phone rings.
Right.
Bill. And then we get that. I love again, it's Bill's hand on the sword. We never see Bill. It's like almost like, who was it from Inspector Gadget?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's like we just never hear it. We just see the hand the whole time.
Yeah.
And like I love that so much though. Just such that sinister presence, like he's the one in charge. And like we just hear that what on the phone.
And I love that when she whispers it, she's like, "Oh, you don't know shit." And when she has to whisper it the second time. But like Bill's voice is so menacing that like it really, to be able to like, for them to present it in a way where you only hear him at first, it just really like nails in how sadistic his voice sounds and how unique his speaking voice is. And like his voice is presented as a character before him because he is his voice. Bill is his voice, his speaking pattern, the lisp, the rasp, like that is his character,
Oh my God. And what a voice anyway. I mean, David Carradine, he had like such warmth as well to that voice. So like when you actually see him and like, when he has those conversations in part 2 with BB and like with Uma Thurman, like when he talks and like when he does his whole speech about like Superman and everything like that, he's so engaging. Like you just want to listen to him.
Yeah.
And like, even like when, right at the very end, he's like, I may taught you the 5-point palm exploding heart technique. You just want to listen to him. You're like, oh my God. Such the perfect choice for that role. It's crazy how he was like, like the fifth or sixth choice for that role. It's nuts. Like Tarantino went through different actors and then got to David Carradine. Oh, genius. But again, yeah, that delivery of that line, you don't owe her shit.
Yeah.
Just love it so much. But again, I love that. Get the pent up frustration as well, because you can tell that like Elle was the other girl, right? Like Bill
Yeah.
loved the bride. He loved her. And the betrayal was, she wanted to leave this. As soon as she fell pregnant, she knew, look, I can't raise a baby around this. I've got to get out of this. I've got to leave. And that was the whole reason why Bill enacted this whole thing. Elle was the other girl, and she knows that. She knows that Bill's heart isn't with her. And that's part of the reason why she fucking hates her so much.
Yeah.
And that just comes out of her. And when she's like, you can see it's funny because she's ready to kill her. She's ready to fucking kill her. And then she almost kind of like, when Bill's on the phone, all that goes away. And it's just, she's almost like childlike again. She's like, I know, I love you. And it's just, she goes inside of herself. And then as soon as that, she's like, I love when she's like angrily putting the phone away and she's like, bet you think that was fucking funny, don't you?
Yeah.
It's like so bitter again.
You better never wake up.
Daryl Hannah.
It's so good. And I feel like you have to watch the movie like a few times to really understand everybody's individual, what's the word I'm looking for? Like driving force as to wanting her dead. Mm-hmm. Obviously Vivica explains that like, I should have been the fucking Black Mamba bitch. Like they were all jealous of her in different ways.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Obviously Daryl Hannah's the other woman. I think Lucy Liu didn't really have genuine respect for her up until their fight. I think she did view her as a silly Caucasian girl wanting to play with samurai swords up until they fought. And she's like, oh shit. Mm-hmm. Like you really are that girl,
Yes.
They all motivation is the word I'm looking for wanting her to die.
Absolutely. And I just love that she comes above all of that and she proves them all wrong, especially Bill when she gets like her kid back at the end. And that's part of the genius of it, how she just, so good, so good.
I know.
So then, yeah, I love that. You better never wake up. And then we go 4 years later. Now, oh my God. I mean, this scene alone, we have some dynamics in this scene. This is a ride. I know. I mean, first of all, credit to Uma Thurman. She gives us an emotional roller coaster in this. So, we see her. She's obviously still in the coma. We see that this again is classic Tarantino, where we get an extreme close-up of something, the mosquito landing on the skin, like stabbing in. This is classic Tarantino, building up tension with something completely random, just to throw us off. And then suddenly Uma Thurman just shooting up in bed and like freeze frame, going through everything in her mind, kind of knocking on her head, like, screaming, and then grabbing her stomach and realizing that she's no longer pregnant. And like Uma Thurman's like, just that, it's like that silent cry when she's just like taking in air, and her face, and like just when she's crying, taking in air, crying, taking in air.
Yeah.
That alone is like award-winning acting. Everything's on her face. She's like sweating, she's crying, she's screaming. Oh my God, she's amazing in this moment.
In that moment, again, I know I keep saying this, but it's so important to her the storytelling, because it really like helps establish her like motivation and like why she's doing this, and it gets you on board with her. Like if you didn't get it before, if you didn't really understand why she was doing this, like what the deal was, now you get it, and you're like, bitch, fuck everybody up, because you can feel how she's been wronged. In many ways. We're going to get to that obviously in a second. She's been so intensely wronged, and now you're like as foaming at the mouth as she is. It's like, go fuck all these people up. They killed you with a machine gun while you were pregnant. And also, just to piggyback off of you saying the like the visual of like her waking up and like the bullet and all that stuff, it's like, in any other movie where a filmmaker would be like lazy, that could have just been like a montage.
Yeah.
Like Quentin will take every single second to try and make it as interesting as possible. And those are shortcuts, right? For storytelling. It's like, now we know she's been shot in the head. She's a plate in her head. She survived. The baby's gone. He just did all of that in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, did it in a really creative way,
Yeah, like I love like you see the bullet actually going into the chamber. You see like the hammer knock it, you see it leave. Like he didn't have to do that. And that's the
No,
genius of him. And as you say, like it was so quick, easy storytelling, knock it on the head, we've got it. We've got it.
done.
We don't need it. Yeah, don't need anything else. Right, got it, done. And even like we hear Bill later on say, like, I put a bullet in her head and her heart kept beating.
Yeah,
Genius. Got
genius.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely genius line. That's all we need. And I
yeah.
love that so much. And then, then we go into this, she hears somebody coming. We get our introduction to Buck. My name is Buck, and I like to fuck. Oh my God. And then
Your name is Buck, right?
right. You came here to fuck, right? So then we get the introduction to Buck, who has a side hustle where he invites men in and basically lets them have their way with women who are in comas. And fucking hell. So then, oh my God, like everything about this is just grim. So like, I mean, that guy's laugh is just grim. It's just, it just gets under the skin. And then the moment when like, he's like charging the money, he's like, just saying it's so blasé. He's like, oh, it's like this amount. And then like, he's like, don't leave any bruises, like no hickeys or anything. The nurse will notice. And like, he's like, it's all good, slapping him on the back. And he's like, oh, and one more thing, throws the Vaseline and we get the, like the look of it. And
God.
it's just vile. But then I love the comeuppance.
It's like, in that, because every time I've watched somebody react to this movie, even if they don't like violence, they don't like gore, they don't like, fighting in movies and stuff like that, in that moment, every single person watching this movie wants her to fuck him up. And they want it bloody and like violent. And I love that. It's like, how can we make the audience be so undeniably on her side and be so on board with how violent she is and how vengeful? Like, in that moment, all you want is for her to just fucking kill this guy. Like, oh my God. And like do it in a really theatrical, violent, gross way.
Yeah, 100%. And
she does. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. I love like the biting of that guy's bottom lip. And I love that we don't just hear the scream. I love that we see it. And then like we get the shot of it. And then like he like passes out with the pain. She pushes him off. I love that like when she collapses, because obviously she hasn't used, her legs, and like falls out of the bed. And then like she's like, right, quickly. I love the pace of this. Everything's choppy where she's like, right, quickly, gets the knife, flicks it open. She knows that this guy's coming. She's like getting ready. And then like it's like hiding. And then that guy walks in. She's like, right, okay. He's like, everything's good. Like, and he looks, he's like, what the fuck? And then that slow motion pan down to her and she's just ready with the knife and then just slits his Achilles heel and he goes down. Oh my God. And it's as you said, Troy, you're like, fuck him up. And God, does she. It's the belting of the door, where's Bill? Wow. Yeah. And I just love it. Please stop hitting me. Where's Bill? so good. Love it.
Have you ever read the thing about how they built like a little stopper on the ground for the door?
Oh, no.
So she literally is slamming. I mean, it's like right next to his face, and they just nailed like a metal stopper into the ground to protect his head.
Right.
So she's literally slamming that door inches from his skull as hard as she physically can.
Jesus, imagine acting that. You would be like,
are you crazy? Just some metal thing you put in the ground? Like, what?
Yeah. Jesus. And I love when she's like, bullshit.
Yeah.
And like keeps doing it. Oh my God. And that moment of when she looks down at his hands and like just sees the book, like the name Buck, and she's like, your name is Buck, right?
Yeah.
You came here to fuck, right? And then just that final smack and like obviously, like breaking the neck and just all of that. I love as well, like I love when she takes his glasses and like just looks like out in the hallway. Just those little moments is just genius. And like
it's so genius because you can tell that she understands the humor in this script so well. Like Uma is firing at every cylinder. You know what I mean? She understands why this is funny. Yeah. And like her way of making this character low-key hilarious is so great. Yeah, that moment where she's like sweating and she like flicks them and puts them on, and she's like looking like it's so good.
It's like we've just had a moment of like brutality of like breaking this guy's neck with
Yes.
a door, and then that it just breaks it up completely, and it works
Yeah.
so well. It's just incredible, and I love that she takes his clothing, and it's like the trousers are too short; they're like up to like her ankles. I just love it so much.
I know. And she's just like violently wheeling through that parking garage.
Love it. And like looking at the keys, the pussy wagon, like, the key ring, and then she sees the car and like the look on her face as if to say, of course it
Of
fucking,
course.
of
Yeah.
course. So like the way she stops and just like looks and she's like, that could have been a look to the camera as if to say like,
Yeah.
of course it fucking is. And then,
Right. And like the
yeah,
payoff of finding out why she's driving a fucking truck called the Pussy Wagon finally and being like, oh, because at the beginning you're like, why is this woman driving a car called the Pussy Wagon? Like, why?
yeah, why is she ever in that fucking car? Yeah, love that so much. Yeah, and then like, so obviously she gets in, still no use of her legs yet, and like grabbing, pulling, and again this physical acting by Uma Thurman, grabbing, pulling her, and you see the tear coming down her cheek, like literally
Yes.
like, pulling herself into the back of that car, and then this is the moment of the wiggle your big toe moment, which again is just iconic. And like, I love that they take this moment knowing that, right, while I'm trying to wake my feet up, let me tell you about Oren Ishii. And it's genius. Absolutely genius. It's like Quentin Tarantino saying, right, I know that I need to take time to wake my protagonist's legs up. So let me tell you a story about Oren Ishii, this name you've seen so far, but you don't know anything about her. So while I'm telling you about this, she'll be waking her legs up in the back of this van. It's being self-aware. And Tarantino is so self-aware in his movies, and this is a prime example of that. It's so clever. I love it so much.
Yeah, he finds any opportunity to inject something to make the movie more interesting and like more epic. You know what I mean? Like to make the storytelling more epic is like it's just so special. And you can tell that he really has such an appreciation for the animation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it just felt like it was done with so much like love. It was just so good.
Yeah. No, it's like it is that. It's like he has an appreciation of the style and the storytelling through that medium. And as you say, like it's done so well. Like it's so emotional when it needs to be. It's really action packed when it needs to be as well. Like just every little moment, like when you see Oren like as a child under the bed, when you see like is it the word whimper that comes out of her mouth and then she pushes it back in, like stuff like that. Did you know?
God.
Did you know it's the same company who did the animation for this as what did the song Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park. All of that music video, the animation, it's the same company who did that.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, so when you watch those two, you can see it. It's the same company who did it. It's incredible. Yeah, and you think around the same time as well is when you had like
living in a music video world.
There you go. There you go. It's so incredible. But I love this story, this backstory that we get for Oren as well. We get an introduction as well to the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad. It's the first time that we hear the name as well. So it's quite nice that we see like the camera of panning up. So we see all of them together, like looking down clearly at the bride. It's like her looking up like in a bloodied state. And as the camera pans in on Oren and then we get the story, I just think that's absolutely incredible. And to be fair, with a story involving, a pedophile, it makes sense to do the animation because filming that would probably be quite difficult. So well told. And again, it just gives so much depth to the Lucy Liu character because we don't get to see that backstory with her. We just get what we get with her as where she is now. It's like, kind of the mob boss. What we get with, Oren Ishii is incredible, especially in the boardroom meeting, which we'll get to shortly. But I just love that we get this depth. And as soon as we see her, we already know how badass she is. And it gives credit to that moment of when we see that name's already crossed off on the list. It gives credit to that moment, right?
Yeah, because then you're like, wow, like Uma is such a badass that she killed this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like this woman who's being set up to be the literal best assassin in the entire world. And yeah, like you said, the animation allows them to tell the story in a way that they definitely wouldn't if it was, acted out. It's just so interesting and such a unique way of telling somebody's backstory. And
Yeah.
like I said, another movie, it would be some lazy montage. But like Quentin is anything but a lazy director. So it's like, why don't we inject something really cool instead of doing some boring backstory, you know?
Yeah. And it just, because of like, the whole themes of like the whole aesthetic of the movie, it just fits so well within Asian cinema. And like
Yeah.
everything that he's honoring, it just fits so, it doesn't feel out of place. It fits so well. And it's
Yeah.
genius. And honestly, credit to Tarantino for including that. And then again, I like that she's like, but before all of that, we come straight back and like,
Wiggle your big
we're
toe.
back. She's like, wiggle your big toe. And like, I love it. She's like, right, hard part's over. And then like, we get this epic amount of time later. We see the feet drop down. She's walking a little bit, wobbly on her feet, but she can walk,
Yeah.
goes to the driver's seat, manages to drive off. And then we see she books obviously a ticket to Okinawa. She's like, Okinawa one way. And she flies off. And then we get the next chapter, which is the man from Okinawa. Now, this scene for me is one of the best in the entire movie.
Yeah.
I love this scene. Like the way the scene changes all the way through is just beautifully written.
It's
I think
gorgeous.
It's incredible. I love as well, like just the cafe, like that, the bar as well. Like it looks stunning. Uma Thurman in this looks beautiful. With like the lighting, the ponytail that she has, like what wearing, like it just looks, the way it's set up, as you said, the lighting, the color palette, it looks beautiful. It's just stunning. So obviously, like Uma Thurman walks into like this, it's like a little bar. We see the owner who's just there. He's just obviously washing up, and lo and behold, we don't know who he is yet. So Uma Thurman walks in, sits down, she's like just chatting. She's quite ditzy, right? Like a ditzy American blonde here, and she's like playing the part, and she's like, talking. He's like, do you know any Japanese? She's like, oh, I know like a little bit, and like, it's like, I know, like she even mispronounces like konnichiwa, and he's like correcting her, and she's like, oh, now you're making fun of me. And like, she's playing, like hamming up this ditzy blonde, and I love it. And he's like, no, you pronounce konnichiwa, like we pronounce konnichiwa. And like, hamming all of this up, I think it's played to perfection. Uma Thurman, again, just showing another side to her.
Yeah.
And I love it because all we've seen so far up to this point is deadly assassin, killer, bitch, like on a rampage, well-deserved, out for her revenge. And then we get this. And it's like, ooh, what's happening here? And I love it.
And they have a very like genuinely like sweet back and forth with each other. Like it's very cute the way that they interact with each other. And it's like you said, it's cool to see like another side of her. Like even if it is put on, it's like this is like a normal woman. Outside of all of this, she's like a fully rounded individual that like is like very normal and has a sense of humor and is, was in a relationship that was like loving and sarcastic and funny and like, she's a human being,
Yeah, absolutely. And then I love like when the guy comes out of the back and like, he's having the banter with like, the owner. And then he's like, what do you want to Uma Thurman? But obviously talking in Japanese, and she's like, what? And like, but clearly she understands what's being said. And like, she's like, oh, can I have like, sake? And he's like, oh, we don't, like in the middle of the day, and like them two having the backwards and forwards. But I love the little subtleties, and the subtleties is what makes this entire scene. So like when you see Hattori Hanzo, when he's chopping something, the way he throws that knife back onto the wall, that's such a subtle little nod to that's not just any man who doesn't know how to handle a knife or a blade.
Yes.
The way he does that so expertly, that's when you're like, there's something about this. And the way that as well, like when they're arguing and like he comes around the back of her and she's like this, and like the way that she ducks her head under him like that, so expert, in the way her hair flops around, which I love. Hairography in this scene is incredible. But like the way she does it so expertly, like that's like any other woman would be like, oh, like, I'm sorry, what's going on? But she does it without flinching. And they're kind of, it's a bit of like a backwards and forwards between them, and they're kind of sussing each other out. And I love it. And that guy's onto her straight away in the back. Right? He kind of knows something's up when he goes in the back. And then when it goes back to cutting, he's like, so why are you here? And she's like, the dynamics of this scene completely changed. Which is like, I came to see a man. And she's like, oh, what man did you come to see? And then she says the name Hattori Hanzo. And I love that you hear the shatter in the background. That is just genius. That's like literally the sign of everything has changed.
Yeah.
Everything in this whole scene has changed. Uma Thurman's face has changed. Hattori Hanzo's face has changed. Like the guy in the back knows what's going on. And I just love when he comes up and just speaks to her in Japanese because he knows at this point she knows.
Yeah.
That backwards and forwards. Oh my God, it's incredible. What's your thoughts, Troy?
Well, I think it's really great that they use this scene to establish the importance of the Hattori Hanzo sword
Yeah.
and him in general, and because you kind of have to understand that her sword is special.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really really important throughout the movie that you understand that she's working with like this like God given from the earth sword that is like so different than everybody else's. But you also have to understand like how insane it is that she has it and like the respect that she has for it, and there's a lot of weight and nuance to her being in possession of that sword. So this is a really great way of establishing that, helping you understand again, like this could have been some stupid moment, like some stupid quick montagey moment, but Quentin decided to make it really interesting and like add weight to it. And it's the reason that 20 years later everybody that knows this movie still remembers the name Hattori Hanzo.
So true. So true. I couldn't agree with you more there. It's like it does like a little like homage to that as well. Like not just Hattori Hanzo, but again it's like the samurai sword. When do you remember that scene in Pulp Fiction when Bruce Willis is looking at all the different items that he's going to use to take out Zed? And he goes to a baseball bat, goes to something else, and then he settles on the samurai sword. And the way that builds up to that moment. And you're right, like we needed this moment to establish just how important that sword is. Priceless. It's a Hattori Hanzo sword. She didn't just go to any store and buy a sword.
Yeah.
It's a Hattori Hanzo sword. And I think that's really, really prevalent, like in the next scene, the transition when I love this next shot when she goes up into like the upstairs space and the way she's looking at the swords.
Oh my God.
And like the music, I know, right? Like it gives me goosebumps every time I watch that scene because like the music that plays, the slow panning, like the color palette changes, it's light, like the way like the sun's coming through the window, shining on the swords. The way she's just slowly panning across and just looking at them. She like knows the worth of every one of those swords, and that's his life's work. On display there, and she's looking at them like, oh my God, that's a pleasure for her. That's an honor for her to be in that room looking at that because she knows like not everybody gets to do that. And the way that she's looking, and the way that she goes to reach one, then she's like, may I? That means so much. She doesn't just grab one. It's Hattori Hanzo, and then I love that she goes and he's like, wait, try the second one down. Because he knows like the sword has to suit the person, right? You can't just a Hattori Hanzo sword, he makes one for a person.
Yeah.
That whole scene is beautifully shot. And it's just stunning, right? It's beautiful.
It's so emotional too. Like you would never think that you could get so emotional about like a sword. But especially when you've seen the movie a few times and like the power of her sword and like her connection to it and the way that it becomes an extension of her, like you said, he makes it for the person and it becomes an extension of her arm, basically. It's just so special.
Yeah, it's beautifully done. And again, I love that, he's like, I like baseball, and then like throws the ball. And like, do you know, like the stunt double actually, like when he throws the ball, he actually threw it at the stunt double and she's the one that sliced it. Like,
really?
Yeah, isn't that nuts? So the stunt double it's a woman called Zoe Bell, and like he threw the ball.
That was
her.
Zoe. That was her.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Yeah,
threw the ball. I knew she was in the fighting ones, but I didn't know that she was like. That's cool.
Isn't that crazy? And just went and just somehow managed it, which is nuts. But but I just love that moment of when she does that, and that's him kind of affirming, right? She's the one. And then I love that line as well. She's like, "I didn't say sell me. I said, give me."
I said, give me.
That line is quotable as hell. I've said that line so many times. I mean, not like an H&M where I've gone into a shop. I didn't say sell.
Like at the gas station.
I didn't say sell me for like a chocolate bar. But again, like I love it when he's like, he understands, and he's like, when he talks to her about, the vermin that she has to kill. And I love that he goes over to the window and it's like he can't even say his name. and he writes it just
Oh
in
my
the
God.
dirt on the window. The way he writes it as well, like it's just so neat.
Beautiful.
Isn't it stunning?
Beautiful.
Like the
Yeah.
calligraphy of like the way that he writes it, it's just stunning. Like the way
Yeah.
just the eye with a little flick, like just
It's
above
that.
it.
That's the
Yeah,
moment where it's like, this
isn't
is
it?
so gorgeous. My God.
I'm
And then you may
so
as well dip like like a feather pin into like ink. It was like that gorgeous.
wasn't it? I'm so pleased you appreciate that because I'm like, can we
Yeah.
get appreciation for the way he wrote Bill, please?
Oh yes, absolutely.
And then he's like, right, I get it. You are going for like the top dog. I need
Yeah.
to make you a sword. And I love that he does that. And he's like, right, you need to train up here. Like, I suggest you practice. And then Uma Thurman's moment of when she like rubs the name off and just the pettiness of when she sees a little bit and she's like, nope, a little bit more.
Yeah.
And just like takes the rest up with her finger because she knows
Yeah.
like, I'm taking this dick out and like
Yeah.
just all of it off. Just genius. I love that scene so much.
Yeah. And by this time, you're so on her journey. Like you're
Yeah.
alongside. You're like, let's do it, girl. Like I already know that you're about to fuck some shit up. I've seen what you can do. Let's do it. You know?
Yeah, let's go. And then, I mean, just the final bit as well, like to really hammer the nail in the coffin about how precious that sword is the
Yeah.
ritual. Like, this is stunning. Like, I love this. Like, everything about it. When you see just how beautiful that sword looks when you first see it unsheathed, the way he's looking at it, like,
Yeah.
down. And, like, I love when he talks about it and he's like, like, it's beautiful. He's talking about, I've created something that is made to kill people, but it's my finest work I've ever made. And I love that he's talking about the juxtaposition in that. He's like, if you were to cut, like, if you were to, swipe this at God, it would cut God. And he talks about how
Oh,
fine it is and how beautiful it is and like the presentation and like the ritual of it. And then the way he hands it to her and he says, like, go yellow haired warrior. And like she
yeah.
takes it off him and says, Domo. And the music and everything, the build up and like, it's just
Oh my
stunning
God.
that moment.
And like she's like so emotional and like you can feel her emotion getting like having it in her hand. It's just so good. It's so good.
Oh my God. And then we get chapter 5, Showdown at the House of Blue Leaves. So then this is when we get our proper introduction to Oren. And this is the meeting in the boardroom. Now this scene, Lucy Liu kills in this scene. Oh my God. So
Nobody
like
delivers lines like Lucy Liu. Nobody delivers dialogue like Lucy Liu. The way that she can do, those long, 5-6 minute monologues that are so intense and, where she's like raising her voice and lowering it and being crazy. And I mean, she's just insane.
oh my God. Like when she turns it on like that, she just delivers. She's so good at it with a straight face as well. Does it so well. I mean, we get the introduction here, like we get the introduction to Sophie, who's like her right-hand person, who's like trilingual. And then we get a bodyguard who's Gogo, who we see obviously later on with the fight with Gogo later on. And we get the crazy 88 as well, who's like her personal army, so to speak. But it's like, it's this moment between her and Boss Tanaka, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. She's like, obviously like she's the leader now of like this like group. And he's obviously not, he doesn't agree with that, obviously for many reasons. He even calls her out for being this half Chinese American and like is visibly angry, the fact that she's a woman as well, and like, he's kicking off about this. That moment when she jumps out of her chair, runs bare feet along the table, and then just cuts his head off. And like, I love how over the top the blood is just coming up. And like everybody's reaction, the way that the head just flops onto the table and like lands near that guy with the fan, he's just freaking out. And everybody's just like, like, that is the moment when you realize you do not fuck with Oren Ishii.
And she's complete, like you said, like stoic, stone-faced. And it's so, one of the best things about that scene is the sound of the blood, because it's like fully comedic. You know what I mean? Like the way that he's able to mix comedy and violence in this movie is literally insane. Like I've never seen anything like it. Like this woman just cut someone's head off, and the sound of the blood is humorous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When she's sitting there and it just keeps going, you can hear like, like it's so funny. It's so stupid. It's so funny. I love it.
You're so right as well. And then like, again, just the way she turns like so slowly to that music and then just says like, she does her famous speech when like she's like, as your leader, and like like Sophie's like translating for her, and then it's just that moment, and this again is one of those quotable lines which I've said so many times when she's like,
Yes.
the price I pay, I collect your fucking head. And
Yeah.
like picks him, she's like, if any of you sons of bitches got anything else to say, now's the fucking time. So great. And like, I love it. And she's like, didn't think so. And just drops his head. And she's like, meeting is adjourned. As if like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
It's so well done by Lucy Liu. And she does that. And that whole board meeting says enough about her character. I love as well, like Gogo throughout. It's just like that soft smile. Is it to say like, that's my leader?
Yes, my idol, my mentor.
That's it. That's my idol. That's who I look up to. And even Sophie as well. It's just like the whole time she's translating, she's just smiling to say, that's my badass bit.
Yeah.
And nobody fucks with her.
Yes.
I love it so much. Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah, and then we transitioned here. So this is the big transition piece. So when Uma Thurman herself is traveling to the House of Blue Leaves, so then we get the shot. This is the first time we get the shot of Uma Thurman on the bike in the iconic Bruce Lee outfit, which is now the bride's outfit. Let's just be real.
Yeah,
it's the bride's outfit. Now it is. It's her outfit. It looks incredible. I love this, how it starts off so clean. This beautiful yellow outfit with the black stripe down, and slowly as the movie goes on, it just gets covered in blood. As it goes on, it gets so dirty and just so cut up as well. But it's so iconic. When I think of Kill Bill, I think of this outfit every single time. It's just iconic, right? It's just pop culture iconic for Kill Bill and Uma Thurman.
It's so iconic, and it's so striking up against like the backdrop of the city and like all of the neons and the cars and the reflections of the lights off the cars. Everything feels so like dark and sort of saturated. And then there's her in this neon yellow, right? It's just visually, it is like 10 out of 10. Like it doesn't get any more beautiful than that.
I know, it's just stunning. And like, it's one of those outfits as well as wherever she is, you can see her, because it stands out. So like when she enters the House of Blue Leaves, you can see her. Like when she's surrounded by the crazy 88, you always know where she is because it just stands out. It's incredible. It's so well chosen. And again, honoring that Asian cinema, like the Bruce Lee outfit, of course, but it just honors that so much. It's incredible. So well chosen.
Yeah.
And then again, we get the iconic, the music, dun, dun, dun. We get the iconic music when Lucy Liu with the crazy 88 and everybody behind her, her whole gang is just walking through slowly. I love that, like, we get the person they call Charlie Brown and his wife are they're kind of like fapping around like to them, just like, oh my God, yes, like come along, like just trying to like appease them, like showing them up to the private room upstairs. Like, yes, just this way. Like they're just like not phased at all, just like very stoic, just walking up, just following them up to the room upstairs. We see the 5, 6, 7, 8s performing on the stage as well, just giving it what for, which is incredible. Yeah, I love that. It was like one of the last days of like when Quentin Tarantino was scouting locations like to film in like Japan. He was in a record store and the 5, 6, 7, 8s were just on, and he heard them and he was like, this song's really catchy. And he said to the person like in the shop, who is this? Can I have the single, please? And he bought it from them, listened to it, and then contacted them and said, will you be in my movie? And that's how they got it.
I love that.
Isn't that nuts? Isn't that crazy?
I love that. Because they add so much to that scene.
Don't they?
Also, this is a streamline that you would never expect, but this last season on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Are you ready for this?
I am not ready, but go on.
I know, it's like, what? So one of the cast members, her name is Crystal, and her husband is like a very famous like producer. He's worked on like The Lion King and everything. Oh, wow. And they had their end of the season party. She's Asian. She's like very like her whole thing, like the last season, especially like the first year she was on the show, was like, showing her culture to everybody. And they had their end of season dinner at that bar. So they were right in the middle on the glass,
No.
thing before. Yeah. And she's like, you're never going to believe this, but this is where they shot Kill Bill. And then when they panned up, you could see the balconies and you could see the stairs and you could see everything. Yeah. It was I was like, what? Like I almost I was like, I'm gonna die. This is crazy.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, so cool. It was so
What?
beautiful.
God, I would kill to have a meal there. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch that moment, just that episode for
Yeah,
that
I'll send it to
alone.
you. I'll
Oh
send
my,
it to you.
please do. Oh my God, that's amazing. Jesus, does it look exactly the same as well?
Exactly the same. And they had Chinese New Year in there, so it was like even more special. Like it was just so like it was really cool. I'll definitely send you the clip so you can see
Please
it.
do. Oh my God, I can't wait to see that. That's incredible, man. I love a crossover like that. That's amazing. Yeah, so then obviously we get when Sophie then goes to the bathroom, so we get that really long tracking shot where like the camera just follows her all the way to the bathroom. The camera doesn't cut once, which is classic Tarantino. I love it so much. We get the 5, 6, 7, 8 like performing on stage. We kind of follow her all the way to the bathroom. I love as well that that's the moment when Uma Thurman's sitting at the bar. She sees her and she follows her into the bathroom. And then, oh, this moment, right? So this moment when we cut back to upstairs, we've got obviously like, they're calling out Charlie Brown and all of this. And like, Oren's sitting there with a gang and like Gogo's there. They're all just chatting. Like they're all having fun, laughing, having a couple of drinks. And then we hear, Oren Ishii! That music that kicks in as well. And then you just think, oh my God, shit's getting real. And then I love this when just she knows, oh my God, what's going on. And then we see the door slide open. We see them all starting to come out. Obviously, everyone's come out. Oren's the last one to walk out. We see Uma Thurman down below. We see Oren up the top. And she just looks down. Obviously, the name's blurred out, Beatrix. And then she looks down and she looks up. Again, we get the close up of the eyes again. And she looks and like it's that the siren going off. Yeah. She sees Lucy Liu this time. And then this is actually when Uma Thurman was asked what was one of her favorite things to do in the movie. She quotes this: cutting off Sophie's arm is one of her favorite things. She loved doing it. And again, they had one take to do it and they did it because the blood had to splatter.
Oh, that makes sense. The blood, yeah.
Right? Because they had to get the cut right. The blood had to come out right. It had to spray right. Even a little bit of it goes on the camera, but it didn't matter because it just looks so well. It caught it so well. Uma Thurman nails it. Her conviction, just that. And like the look on her face when she does it, it's like, it's not even like a giddy, like, oh, I got it right. It's like, I sliced her fucking arm off. Yeah. And she just does it and like looks at like Oren as if to say, I just fucking did that.
Yeah.
And the way like Julie Dreyfus as well, the way she sells it when she's like screaming, like blood going,
throws her body around and the blood is. I mean, it's so cool,
isn't it? Just. And then I love that like she's coming forward, everyone's looking, everyone screams, and then just runs out. Oh my God, that moment, right?
Yeah, that is like one of like whenever I think of this movie, that's one of the scenes that I always think of is just like the visual of her doing that. And also the fact that Lucy Liu watches it happen and she's completely stone-faced.
Yeah.
Like she's reacting, but also not. Like she's just like, bitch, I'm not going to contort my face, but you have off.
Yeah.
Then,
yeah. Like she's like, right, okay, you want to go? Let's go. She's like, she's not showing any weakness at all. She's like, I know that's my right-hand girl, but okay, let's go. Yeah. And like, she's sending like her lower, I guess, henchmen thinking like, right, let's try and take her out. And I love as well, like this is the start of when we're seeing like the kick-ass kung fu action of the bride, so, and I love that we see the power of the sword here, right? How it's not just like a sword that can cut you. We kind of get that, but it makes sharp work. It just chops other swords in half, right? Yeah. And like the way that he stabs into people, lifts them up with the sword and throws them like they're nothing. This is like the power of the Hattori Hanzo sword. It's not like any other sword. It slices other swords down. And I love like the moment of like when 3 of them come down the stairs and like the way it's like a dance, how she slices between them all. And like, it's that moment of when it's like ringing and then she just like hits that. Yeah. And it just, they all fall down together.
Yeah.
It's just beautifully artistic, right?
Yeah, it's stunning. And it's like showing how it's establishing how much this sword has already become a part of her. Like she's literally like like you said, it's like a dance. She's dancing with this sword. you know, and that moment when she like stops the sound, it's like this is literally an extension of her body
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. It's stunning. It's just beautiful to watch. And then what did you think of the Gogo versus the Bride fight?
Oh, it's my favorite moment in this movie for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it's my favorite fight because it's so like it's a real pop culture moment to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels like again like a music video moment. It's just really cool, and they established the whole time that like you know she's like this low key. She looks sweet, but she's very dangerous and she's nothing to be fucked with. You know, and
Yeah.
I love when Uma kind of even underestimates her and she's like, "Listen, little girl, like this isn't your fight. I know that she's your madam or whatever she calls her." And she's like, but you need to go home. You're literally a child. You know, even Uma underestimates her and she gives her a little run for her money.
Yeah, 100% agree. I love it. I love that. Again, it's like a different style of fighting. Like, Uma tries to take her on with a sword, but once that sword's out of her hand, she's like, shit, I've got to improvise. Like, that sword's gone now. What the fuck am I going to do? And like, the moment that she takes like the ball in the chest and gets knocked down, like the sword's out of her hand, she's like, you feel the impact every single
Yeah.
time. And like, she's picking up tables, they're getting shattered. And like, she's on the back foot all the time. She's like getting away from her because she knows like
Yeah.
I can't get in. I haven't got my sword. It's away from me. She's fighting with like I love the absurdness of it as well when like she's like whacking the ball back with like a table leg and it hits her on the back
Yeah.
and the bowling ball sound effect.
Yeah.
I just love how wild that is. Like
Yeah.
knocks her forward, the table shatters, and like I love as well like when you see the blade come out and like the whirling of it coming towards the camera, just all of that. It's so well filmed. But the moment it goes around her neck and like
Yeah.
she's starting to like, wrap the chains around her arms and is like pulling it towards her, like that is just, oh, it's
Yeah.
like the way that Uma Thurman looks in that moment as well, when her eyes are just
Eyes are like
red.
red. Yeah.
And like they look like they're like popping and like she's trying to like hold on to just get her breath.
Yeah.
And God, I love when she just like,
It's oh,
isn't it just the moment? Like,
it's so beautiful. It's so beautifully shot. Like the close up of her face when she realizes that she did it, and then the close up of Gogo's face when she like the blood. You explain it. I'll let you go. Sorry, I'm just like
I love it. Just the moment when her eyes go down and she sees like the nails in the table leg,
yeah,
and she just quickly steps on the wood, grabs it in the foot, and you see Gogo like head back in pain, and like the way that she rives it into her toes as well, and you see the blood
yes,
coming over the white shoe. Again, it's
yes,
beautifully shot. And then again, the moment of the traveling, and you just that the hi. And again, Uma just looks beautiful. Like her hair just kind of flicks and it's straight to camera. And like the way that she just knows, like, I've done this. And
yeah,
when it cuts back to Gogo and you just see the blood coming out of her eyes, and
yeah,
it's just literally nailed into the
yeah.
side of her head. And then she just flops and down. I just love Uma Thurman just again, just looks. She's like, right, another one down.
Another one.
Flops and then goes back over for her sword. And then again, she just, and the whole time, as you said, like, Lucy Liu, like, it's just up there, just watching the whole thing happen. Face hasn't moved at all. She's just lost, like, her bodyguard and is just
Yeah,
watching, like, okay, pulls out her little mini katana.
yeah,
I love when she's like, so, Ren, got any more subordinates for me to kill? And, like,
yeah.
and like, I love that she like stabs like the katana in like the revving. Well, I love as well like this the randomness of the silly rabbit tricks are for kids. Another really quotable line as well, which makes no sense. But
So
I just
Quentin.
it is right, but I just love that it's there. I love that it's there. And then this is when we get the all out crazy 88 showdown. Do you know that it took 3 months just to film this fight?
Are you kidding?
3 months?
Good Lord.
Isn't that
I don't
nuts?
I don't doubt it. It's so intricately done. Everything is so precise. It's like an orchestra. There's so many moving parts.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. It's like Tarantino actually got so he got the fight choreographer who did The Matrix on set to go over things with him, and he even said to Tarantino, "You've got this scripted and down so well. I'm actually not even needed." Isn't
Wow.
that nuts? Isn't that
That's
crazy?
interesting.
It's
And
Tarantino.
also knowing that Zoe is like doing this, a lot of it is like really cool because I
Isn't
love her.
isn't that crazy? Isn't that
Yeah, I love her.
insane? It's wild. But like Tarantino even said, like this movie taught him how to film action movies.
Yeah.
And you can tell like he literally went step by step by step. So it was like,
Hmm.
right, do this move, this move, this move. And that's how he did it. It's probably why it took so long, but the payoff is incredible.
Yeah, and for it to be so orchestrated but not feel like it actually feels, that she is like taking on all these people. It feels very it's just well executed. It's
Mm.
so well done.
It's beautiful. Like everything from like we get the axe throwing like in slow motion.
Oh
Uh,
God.
like I love all of it from like the moment of when like they're running up to like the different levels, like the moment when she jumps down with the bamboo stick and then lets it go and it slaps the guy on the head. We still get a little bit like that, like in the moment of like she's like somersaulting. I love the moment, and this reminds me of like there's one move that she does when like she goes over her back with the sword and like spins around, gets three guys in one.
Oh, it's the best. That's the
Oh, it's stunning. I remember when I was because I own like two samurai swords, one of them being, as you know, the Hattori Hanzo sword. And
yes.
when I got it when I was younger, like 2003, after this movie came out, I tried doing that move in my bedroom, just that move. And the first time I ever did it, I like whacked the light bulb and it went really bright. And I was like, okay, well, I won't hit the light bulb again. I'll be fine. Tried it again, shattered the light bulb. It just went everywhere in the bedroom. And I was like, shit. I was
You
like,
look behind you,
right.
everything is sliced in half. Their
Like,
curtains, everything is just
and
sliced.
I was like, well, this is my bedroom. I'm just going to have to live with it now.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
everywhere. I was like, why? But yeah, it was just so funny. But yeah, this fight is just beautifully choreographed. And again, like the reason why it goes in black and white as well is literally like so the ratings kind of standard said, look, you're gonna have to do something with this because it's so gruesome. Like you're gonna have to actually cut big parts of it out unless you do something about it. So the reason
Yeah.
why Tarantino switched to black and white again with the eye, that was the moment of right, I'm just gonna put it in black and white so that you don't see the blood. And it
And
works
it's
so
so
well.
cool. It's such a great decision. Like, what a an artistic way to like, battle the like, what are they called? The MPA. What are they called?
The MPA, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what an artistic way to be like, no, fuck you. I'm not gonna slice and dice my movie. I'm just gonna make it this beautiful, deep, rich, black and white. And the thing is like because he is so visual, it's not just black and white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I used to do photography and like there's so many different versions of black and white. There's so many different versions of sepia.
Mm.
And like it's such a specific, beautifully lit, like rich, like I said, pop culture black and white,
Mm.
it
Yeah,
pops.
it does. It's beautifully shot. And like all of the moments, like when she gets the two katanas at one point, and like
Oh,
she knows like she's surrounded and like starts to break dance on the floor and like chops their limbs off, and that song that plays, which just
yeah.
fits. It's just genius. And like even just as you said, it's not just black and white. Like I love when she goes upstairs and she's followed by them, and then we get like the silhouette when it's like a blue background. And it's like,
Mhm.
and it's just like silhouette. Like that is stunningly beautifully shot. Like I
And that
love that.
music when it's like
Oh,
it's so
yeah,
cool.
isn't it?
It's
It's
so cool.
gorgeously shot. And again, like, you don't see anything there. You just, of course, like you see like her moving around, you see kind of like limbs, but you don't see like blood. And then that's when like kind of the lights are flicked back on. You get that moment of when you see like the really young guy and she's
Yeah,
like
the
cuts
only
his,
one.
I know, right? Like cuts his sword right down, like in front of him, and he just like drops and puts his hands up. And that's when she like grabs him. She's like, "This is what you get for fucking around the Yakuza. Go
Yeah.
home to your mother." And I just, oh, love it. Love it. Do you know the guy she fights after that, who has the two sticks, the bald head guy? He's the guy who plays, what's he called? The guy with the big beard in the sequel.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah,
Oh
it's
my God, I
him.
love that.
Yeah. What's it? Pai Mei.
Jaime. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah,
that.
same actor. Yeah, it's nuts.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's wild. But obviously, yeah, it just disposes of him. And I love the shot when after the massive fight, which, by the way, that fight really does just show the absolute power of her, like
Yeah.
of her with that sword. And this is the moment when she really lets loose, where this is just the action. This is her as the samurai warrior, really. And you just know she can take on a room full of these fighters and can wipe them out like that. You don't mess with her.
Yeah. And it's cool because it's like at this point you're so in it with her, like you're
Yeah.
so emotionally attached to her that like you're ready to watch her be this woman. Like you're at the point now where you're ready to see her really just fuck up a lot of people and be gruesome and gory and bloody because you know what she's capable of,
Yeah.
you know? And this is really just her like tipping her hat. Like it's so incredible.
It's epic. It's like one of the most epic fight scenes in any movie still today. It's just so phenomenally shot. And honestly, I credit Tarantino for doing so well with it and with Uma Thurman as well. She just nails it. It's incredible.
Totally.
And again, like, you know, when she's on top of like the platform is making the speech, like in Japanese to everyone saying like, leave your limbs, they belong to me now. It's just so epic. Like it's so incredible. And then she's like, except you, Sophie, you stay right where you are.
Where you are. And the way she says it is so good. And the way she points her finger, I love it.
It's just, I love it so much. And then then we get the final showdown. So then, you know, she goes out and then I just love the way she pushes the doors open. And this is a complete change of energy, pace, everything. So I love like she steps outside and the way that it's snowing and like the sound, everything's different. Isn't it beautiful? It's stunning.
It's so delicate and it's so like, it completely like flips what you expect this is going to be. Because you're expecting this is like, you know, this is it. And these two powerful women are about to kill each other. And it's just so delicate. You know, it's just so like precious and like gorgeous.
It's stunning. This is like the final dance. Like it's beautiful. And like I love as well how, you know, I love like the water filling up the bamboo kind of pipe and like how it keeps flopping down all the time. It's beautiful. And like Lucy Liu straightway is complete, even though she's just wiped out a room of like all of her army, she's just unfazed. And like the first thing she says is, you know, your instrument's quite impressive. Like, you know, just completely, where did you get that? You know, and,
totally.
And I love that she's like, oh, this is Hattori Hanzo's steel. And she doesn't believe her. And she has to show her the mark. And she's like, oh, okay. And like, even then, like, she's like,
that moment when she doesn't believe it, when what does she say? Like, liar.
Yeah. When she's like, yeah, like you lie or something like that.
Yeah.
And she looks and like flips the sword around. She looks and she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I love like the respect in this fight between how like, you know, she's kind of basically saying like Lucy Liu fully believes that she's going to kill her. You know, she's like, I'm going to kill you. You're going to die. But she still bows to her. Right.
Yeah.
And then like, I love the taking off of like the slippers. Now she delicately pushes them back, like bows.
Oh, yes.
Takes a little bit of the snow and that music, you know, it's like the clapping, that clap.
Yeah.
When it starts and like the way that she slowly puts a hand around the sheath as well of the sword and like just takes it out. Isn't it just beautiful?
It's gorgeous. It's like a moving painting.
It's beautiful. The blue and black sky, like behind them, the white gown that she has on, like, and again, Uma Thurman in like her yellow, like bloodied outfit, and like how beautifully clean, like Oren is at this point. It's just gorgeous. And again, as you say, like the way they come together, it's a different fighting style. So where it's been so like bloody earlier, the way their swords clash together, it is a dance. It's a beautiful, like fluid dance, the way they come together. And when she does that big slash, like on Uma Thurman's back, and she delivers that line, say the line, Troy.
Yeah, so a silly Caucasian girl wants to play around with samurai swords.
Oh,
so good.
Love it. Like the way she delivers, she's like, you may be able to fight like a samurai, but you can at least die like a samurai.
Like a samurai. And she's so stoic and like just so blank in that way that Lucy Liu is so perfect at being blank. Like, you know, delivering these crazy lines with a complete stoic face is so God. And the blood pouring from her back, like it's like holy fuck, like you can feel it.
You can. It's like it's not just like a little cut, it's a slash down her
Yeah.
back. It's like a full-on cut, as if to say, like, you're messing with the best here.
Yes.
You're like, fuck. And then, like, I love that, she stabs her sword in the ground, gets back up, and she's like, right, okay. And then again, like, they come back together, they start fighting. And I love that, Uma Thurman gets that cut on her leg. Like the way that even like she like gets down on one knee and like kind of swipes her leg and you hear it. And like Lucy Liu like kind of backs off, like limps back. And then she's like, fuck. And then like we get that moment of when they're apart and you just hear the bamboo in the water. And like kind of just that plump, plump.
And it's like, and that's the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's this like gorgeous like timekeeper thing in the water. Like it's just so beautiful and it's so unexpected. It's the complete opposite of everything we've seen so far in this movie. If anything, it's like this is like similar to the fight that she planned with Vivek at the beginning,
Yes.
like this that respectful like ninja moment.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, absolutely. And just like you see them, yeah, that is the soundtrack, you're right. And just them two standing there in the shot. And that's the only thing that you see moving, just them breathing, looking at each other. And then right. I love that Lucy Liu apologizes. Like when she sees the blood trickling down her leg, and like she even says, like, for ridiculing you before, I apologize. Yeah. Like Uma Thurman accepts the apology. It's just a level of respect between them two. Whereas you compare that to the Vivica like fight in the, right back at the beginning of the film, that was just two people having a full-on scrap. Right? There was no time for any of that. That was just, let's have a full-on brawl. This is about respect. And like that apology, and just like, look, it's accepted. And she even says, she doesn't even just come for her. She says, are you ready? And she says, come on.
Are you ready? It's so good. Yeah, it's respectful. And it's very like, at that point, we've seen Lucy Liu kind of sick all of these like brute idiots on her. Like they're just kind of idiots. They're like people that they're like expendable. Like she doesn't care about losing them. You know what I mean? But like the real respect comes from her ability to like get a hit on her.
Yeah.
It's not because you killed a bunch of dumbasses that are like, I've brainwashed into fighting for me. It's me. You know?
Exactly. So then obviously they come back together for the final fight. And like, it's really kind of brutal, that one, when you hear like the swords clash. It's like that bang, bang, bang. And then they come apart at that point, and then they run around kind of like the bamboo, and then you just kind of hear like it's that slice that, and then we see the hair just fly through the sky and kind of just land in the snow. And then I just love that music that comes on as we see the close up of Lucy Liu's hand as like the sword just drops. Right. And then, just straight away she's like, that truly was a Hattori Hanzo sword. The camera just pans up and she's been scalped.
And I love that gorgeous red streak of blood that flings into the snow. It's just so visually, like, it's a visual feast. And her sitting there with a little bit of her brain showing, like, it's
my God. No, I love it. Like, it's just beautiful. It's like bam, 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 such quick shots, but it's just gorgeous. And then, like, as you say, like, you see like a brain, then she just flops onto her knees and then just flops down. And again, like, even when it shows Uma Thurman from the back and she's like her arms stretched out and she's just breathing so heavily because she knows like this has been the fight. Right. And she's like, oh my God. And you can tell, like, just afterwards, she just walks, sits down on the chair, and she's just knackered, like sword in hand. She's like, oh my God. Like, that was the fight.
And she just killed like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, like, and I love that moment when she sits down and they establish like she's a human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's literally just like a mom. Like,
oh yeah.
And she's fucking tired, and it's just, it's so good.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's so good. As you said, you're right. It's just so good. And then we go to, I love this where, she says, we get the call back to Sophie, right? When she's like, you stay right where you are. And we get the call back to when we obviously see a car pulled outside of a hospital, and then we see a body go rolling down the hill. We see a body get dragged out the back of a car. We see a body go rolling down the hill. And then obviously it lands in the hospital. We see people run out and like dragging this body in.
And the way she throws it is so funny.
Isn't it so brutal?
throws it like a bag of garbage.
Right? And just the way she flops at the bottom and rolls, and you're
Yeah.
just like, what? And then we get the close up of Sophie in the hospital, right? And we hear Bill's voice again. He's like, Sophie, my dear Sophie. And like we just see his hands, and it's such a
Yeah.
presence of just voice, hands, and that's all we need. Gets like this blue wash, isn't it, just over her? And he's like talking to her, and he's like, tell me everything that happened. And again, she's saying, look, like the bride was like, and this is like her kind of telling. I love this shot as well, like from like outside of like the boot of the car, from like, it's Sophie's point of view, and like it's the bride looking down with the helmet on. He's like, I let you keep your wicked life for 2 reasons.
Your
like,
wicked life.
Oh, it's so good. And he's just like, I want him to know that I know. And like all of this, he's like, I want him to know that I'm coming for him. Like, just her delivery. And like when you hear her say, like, give me your other arm, and like all of that, and just the delivery of like Uma Thurman's just conviction, just to basically say, I am coming for you, Bill.
Yeah. I know, and I love when she says like, every time you lie, I'm gonna cut off another thing, and she says like, and it'll be things you'll miss. It's the way she delivers, but she's so like menacing and like sort of cartoonish. Like it's very campy. It's like at all moments this movie is camp.
Yeah,
and it delivers camp so well.
Oh my god, and it just works. It works for the character so damn well. Uma delivers it every single time. And then, and then that like the camera like slowly pans towards her face. And I love that it's just Uma's voice at this point, right? Like you can't see her face. And it's so nice that the voice captures the menace of that. Because you've seen everything now of what she's going to do. You know how badass she's going to be. So you know that every word that she's saying, the conviction there is backed up by everything that you've just seen. Because she's a kick ass in the sequel, right?
Yeah.
And then we go back to Sophie, and Bill's heard all of this. And I love that we get one more thing, Sophie. Is she aware that her daughter's still alive? And you're like, what? And then it just ends.
Like every time I've ever seen somebody watch this movie, that moment, like they immediately want to watch the second part.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that a movie is good, because this is like not a short movie. It's not like an easy movie to take on. It's like very layered. There's a lot going on. It's kind of long. And the fact that when that moment happens, anybody who watches is like, let's watch the other 2 hour. You know what I mean? Like it's just so good.
Oh, it's perfection. Like it's incredible. It's so well done. And again, it's like, I think it's kind of like harping back to what I said like at the beginning. It's like it gives the character of the bride, like Beatrix, it gives her more motive straight away, where we know now that her child's still alive, so that we know like we're gonna see the mother like in the sequel now. So we're gonna see like the motive of her wanting her daughter back, and that's so important for this character. Because we've seen like she's already got motive. She deserves her revenge. Jesus, she deserves her revenge, because at this point she still believes her daughter's dead. So she deserves her revenge of killing them, because thinks she's lost like her daughter. She nearly died. But now she's got this new motive of, no way, my daughter's alive. I need to get my daughter back. I need to reclaim the motherhood that I think I've lost for 4 years.
Right.
We need to see that. And as well, she needs to kill Bill. We need to see that happen. And that's the exciting part. So, oh my God, it's the perfect ending to make you want to watch part 2. As soon as it ended as well, every time it ends, I want to watch part 2. I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready. So ready. And that's exactly what you and I will do, Troy, when we come back to do volume 2.
I can't wait.
Damn. But just final thoughts. Kill Bill volume 1, Troy. Final thoughts on the movie before we end.
Final thoughts is that I believe personally that this is Quentin's best work. I think that this is like, it will be really hard to top this for me, for Quentin. And I love Quentin movies, but this is a spectacle. It's a real like creative like feat. Like this is a thing that you look back on and think like, I can't believe that I made that movie. It's just so special, timeless, and so layered. And like I said earlier, it's a movie that you can watch 1,000 times. You always pick up on something new, whether it's like an Easter egg or some person's face or a bit of dialogue. Like it just is constantly feeding you something visually, music, the acting, the action, I mean, it's a feast. Like I said earlier, this movie is literally a feast.
I couldn't agree with you more. I absolutely agree. I think not only is it one of Tarantino's best movie of all time, I think it's one of the best movies of all time,
Yeah.
duos back to back. It's in my top five, like, of
Me
all
too.
time. Like, it's a classic revenge movie story. Like, of course it is, but it's
Yeah.
more than that as well. And I think, artistically, it's beautiful. It like does so much in terms of like honoring so many different genres of like cinema. It does that
Mm.
so well. I mean, the soundtrack alone is incredible. But I think it just to like sum it down massively, it just makes you really root for this female protagonist who
Yeah.
deserves her revenge. And you really get behind her. And the story
Yeah.
is just so well told. And it just takes you on such an epic journey with it right to the conclusion. It has that satisfying end. And when you get that end of when she kills Bill, you're with her right to the end. That
Yeah.
final blow when she does it, you're with her. And you see that all sides of her. I love that we start with this assassin and we get the mother at the end. And we get that moment of relief with her at the end. It's just phenomenal storytelling. It's incredible. And I love that, we get all out action in part one. We get a much slower pace in part two. But part two for me is the better part. I just think it delivers so well. There's a lot more subtleties in part two. The storytelling's incredible in part two. The payoffs in part two are amazing. We get a lot more of like a Western vibe in part two as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think together as one piece, it's an absolute masterpiece. And I think honestly, it's Tarantino's crown jewel, and he should be proud of this. It's just phenomenal. And whenever I come back to it, I always get something new to enjoy from it. I always enjoy it every single time I watch it, even though I've seen it a million times. I still enjoy it. As you said, it's timeless. Absolutely timeless. Whenever I come back to it, I just love it. And I just appreciate it again and again and again. So I could just watch and talk about Kill Bill 1 and 2 until I'm dead. I just love it so, so much.
But, I cannot wait to do part two with you. I'm not kidding. I just tell me one and I am ready to go.
Same, Troy. I can't wait. There's so much I want to say about part two. Oh, cannot wait. And we will do it. Well, yes, Troy, tell everybody listening where they can find you on the internet.
Well, I have a podcast called Beyond the Blinds. You can find it by searching Beyond the Blinds on everything on iTunes and Stitcher and all those things. I do actually still host another podcast called Dunzo. And I'm mostly active on Instagram. So if you search just Dunzo Pod on Instagram, you'll find me. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
There you go, everyone. So go and check out all of everything that Troy's doing on there, because it's incredible. And that's how we started talking about Kill Bill on Instagram, by just me checking out the story that he did there. And I was like, Troy, we need to do this immediately. So make sure you go and check that out.
I'm so happy that you asked me to do it. I really honestly am so honored. Like, this is I know how important this movie is to you. So it's like a big deal for me that you wanted me to talk about it with you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's been my absolute honor to talk to you, like, with you about it, man. Honestly, it's been incredible. Thank you. But yeah, so if you do want to check us out, we are on all social media platforms. So we are on Twitter, Instagram. So just check out Last Week on Pod. If you want to follow me, I am at Strawn87. So if you type that in everywhere, you will see my face. So again, I just want to say a big thank you, Troy, for coming on. This has been incredible. I cannot wait to cover part two with you as well. That's going to be epic, and make sure that you guys come back for that. And as well, if you do enjoy us, make sure you give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, everywhere else you can review us as well. So again, thank you, Troy, for coming back on. This has been incredible. Cannot wait for part two. And everybody else, take care.
Bye.